Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Joy Newsroom. The bulletin is live on the Joy News channel on DSTV 421 and Go TV channel 124. Coming up this afternoon, NDC's candidate in the Assin North by-election, Gyake Quayson, describes the schedule of hearing into the criminal case against him as a ploy by the executive to intimidate him. Also, 4 suspects arrested in connection with a viral video in which a lady was stripped naked and beaten at Kupilga in the Boku West district have been remanded and set to reappear in court on 30th of June. An executive officer of Charterhouse, organizers of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, Teresa Ayuade, says the famous Ghana Music Awards scheme was bettered after an argument between former music group Achame and Lord Kenya over who is best in the industry. These and more stories we have lined up for you, plus business here on Joy Newsroom. I am Fostina. Sarfo, thanks for choosing us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the NDC's candidate in the Assin North by-election, Gyake Quayson, has described the schedule of hearing into the criminal case against him as a ploy by the executive to intimidate him. Reacting to the announcement of the hearing schedule on Weasel TV, Mr. Gyake Quayson argued and accused government of usurping the choice of the people. Well, a high court has ruled the perjury and forgery trial against him will be held on a day-to-day basis beginning on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. Now, it comes after the court presided over by Justice Mary Yanzu had turned down a request by Quayson's lawyer which sought to have the trial continued after the Assin North by-election slated for June 27th.
Well, I think basically it's an intimidation process. I haven't seen any criminal trial that an accused person or suspect is being arraigned before the court on a daily basis. So we all know that it's an executive influence on that matter. So I'm not worried about that. I will still be able to manage my campaign.
How are all of these issues shaping up your campaign towards the by-election itself on 27th?
You know, I think the people of Assin North very well understand the circumstances and situations I'm going through. They also understand that the fight is not about me, it's about them, the well-being and the development of the... in fact, it's very surprising and strange to me that we preach one thing and we do the other. We talk about democracy, but we don't respect the choice of the people. This we all know in 2020 December, I want this election fair and clear. And then there's been maneuvering due to the imbalance, the status of the parliament or the legislature right now. They all understand that if given the legislature numbers, if one side of the party was higher than the other, in other words, let's say NDC or MPP had 140 and the other had like 135, we won't be facing this. It is the situation of the House, because for the first time in Ghana's elections, we had 137.
Yeah.
You know, but in a true democracy, you work with consensus. You build consensus. You work with the other side. In fact, Ghanaians spoke that they don't want one party rule to control, like give and winner takes all. That is why they gave us that mandate.
Yeah.
But it seems as though they don't want to respect the people's choice, and they will do everything to maneuver to reduce the number. So to me, so long as my people stand strong behind me, I'm not perturbed at all. I'm very strong. I'm in a whole different level of spirit right now.
But what exactly have they been telling you, the constituents? What have they been telling you, build up to the by-election?
Well, I mean, I'm sure since you've been around, you've heard it. People are saying, even if you're thrown in jail or you are arraigned before a court, if there's a by-election 10 times, my people are going to stand behind me, so long as I know. This is the assurance they've given me. So, I mean, in terms of people's support, it's very strong.
Now, we understand also that for the 1 year that you have been out of Parliament, you were still able to do some more projects that people feel that if you had been given the opportunity to sit in Parliament, you would have done more.
Yeah, you know, I came with one purpose, and the purpose is to help the Assin North community develop. I mean, in Central region, we have 23 constituents, and out of the 23, we rank number 22 in terms of development. It's a very underdeveloped, deprived community. So this is what focused my vision and attention to come back home and try to help. I mean, is it a crime to come home with some experience and knowledge to come and help build your community? So for that reason, they also see that, you know, there's been so many administration back and forth who basically do not really care. A true leader or a true member of parliament, you go through the challenge, you review the challenges in the community, you see, and then you try to address it as best as you can.
Yeah.
You don't wait. I mean, this is, sometimes it's just strange to me that people don't have to go beg the government for development. You should see the size of any community, and if they need, let's say, toilet, you put it there. If they need a clinic, you put it there. People shouldn't be using their hard-earned resources. The resources we have for this country is for everybody. It's not for one individual or for a group of people. And that's what really, and this is what you hear outside, that African leaders don't take care of themselves, their population. You know, I don't have to be a member of your party before you support me or you give me amenities.
Well, former President John Dramani Mahama has also been sharing his thoughts about the Gyakye Quayson's court case. He says that the court has been manipulated by the executive.
And umubu time na nyomo kan ne say yenua oye MP wo ha processor ya de fa so a oto ne Canadian citizenship go ye no ansa na obeye MP no amfa mra kwan so sa na omukan na abatu ayeto ya yeyi no as MP no yentwem na yensan gina foforo na wohwe amanihu a abranti afamu minim se Ghana ha ye bie kwan ne ka se nipa epese omukọ Canada ombechiro mudi em se anhwe yi a ye man no ye nya nipa enye adwuma wo ha biom na papa yi obone bra e wo Canada many years na ne bone a waya ne se o se me ba fie abesom aye adwuma ma me man na mane hu nyina no na ko ba se 2020 ye to aba no aba ne pai ye e wo parliament yenya 137 omuso munya 137 ntina ye nuanu me o so mo fa kwan bi so eyi ye nipa ba kum nyenu bi efri ho se na be ya omo betimi aye omo adwuma o parliament nti ye de eni siwe so na ye MP owo Jomoro ono so ye di si no so on de nyame adum nti ofamu eso question de ye de na gina court sa ni adane ni sei enne enye se amanyosem abaye court nsemu a ankasa asemi enya de a medwen se ewo se ne aba no eba enso ye de NDC amanyoko no 1992 constitution ye ne de bai Fourth Republic, near the Fourth Republic by. Enti Emra, ye bumra. This is Supreme Court aka, ya diatum. Ya besa abijina. Na ni amesre Assin North ene se amani hu a me nua Quayson afamu no. Obra wa bre ene aforebo a wabo ama Assin North me amane nyekwa. Me amane nyekwa. Yenkyerɛ sɛ yɛgyinidi na nea wafa mu no ɛnam yɛ so no ɛyɛ de a yɛni sɔ na ɛna Ghanafo nyinaa ɛde ɔmani aba Assin North ɛfiri sɛ mo na mobɛkasa ama Ghanafo yɛn nyinaa yɛnim nea ɛkɔ so wɔ ɔman yi wo ne obiara kasa a ɔmo nim nea ɛkɔ so ahokyere ne esikasɛm a asɛe na sɛ aban bɛtena so ne ntimi anhwɛ so yie na nneɛma sɛe na nipa ɛbrɛ ɛwɔ sɛ yɛkyerɛ aban ne sɛ sɛnea mobu ɔman no ɛnyɛ ne kwan so a.
That's John Dramani Mahama, the former president, urging the people of Assin North to exercise their franchise in favor of James Gyakye Quayson when the election is held in that constituency. May ask that they ignore all the by-talk about the election, then vote for the NDC. Now, let's get more on this. Now, this is quite controversial. So we have the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Mustafa Bande, joining us right here on Joy Newsroom. First of all, thank you for joining us. What's your initial thought of the court's decision to hear James Gyakye Quayson's case on a day-to-day basis, starting on the 20th of this month, knowing fully well that you have just 7 days to the by-election?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Right. So that decision, though, came as a surprise to many. For us, it doesn't surprise us in the first place because we've always intimated the overwhelming influence attempt by the government, led by His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, to influence the judiciary and the exercise of their work. And you have seen the commentaries from our colleagues in the MPP to the effect that even if the people of Assin North decide to vote for their brother, who is Honorable Gyakye Quayson, to continue to do his work, they will still find a way to jail him. They have been saying this not today. And clearly the decision from the court confirms what the MPP and the government machinery have been saying. Fundamentally, that is a travesty of justice, and I say this every day. Again, that is how low our judiciary have come, to the extent that they are more or less political entities that are used by politicians to execute political expedience actions. And so this is clearly one of them. But for us in the NDC, what we have resolved to do is to do what is right, to get the honorable member re-elected, to continue his good work, to retain him in parliament. And that if the people vote for him, and we've been telling the people to vote for their brother because we feel that as a party, he's the best man to continue the work as a parliamentarian in that constituency. His candor, his humility, his personality and posture is one that all of us are learning from, and one that the people of Assin North will be glad to have. That resolve is not one that will compromise. It doesn't matter what the government want to do. If they like, for all we care, they could jail him. We don't care.
Okay.
And now they actually jail everyone in this country. We don't care. What is clear is that his government is a failure. He himself is a failure. and that it is so clear that the independence of the judiciary is compromised. We have politicians sitting as judges, and that in itself, it's something that warrants to our democracy.
Strong allegations you're making there, Mustafa Bande. You are pushing right now for, you feel that the judiciary is compromised? That's the position of the NDC right now?
A lot of criminal cases. One is Namwan's case. You know, why is the judiciary not sitting day to day? You know, there are a lot of criminal cases before the courts. They are not sitting on those cases day to day.
But one would argue, why put forth a candidate that has a criminal case pending in court? That's the argument. Why is the NDC deciding to put forth a candidate that has a pending criminal case in court?
It doesn't have, if you have a criminal case in court, that case under the rules of law of this country, that case is just as an allegation, and that you are required to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So are we saying that if I'm supposed to be a president and then someone goes to court to say, I've stolen his file, I should abort that ambition? That's not the case. The case is that Honorable Gyakye Quayson, we don't see he's wronged. The case is also that the state can make allegations, but they have to establish beyond reasonable doubt. And that's the presumption under which we all operate in this country. And so we don't think that the state going to make allegations that are politically inclined to further enhance their political motives to reduce the number of parliamentarians in parliament is one that should influence our decision. We believe that he's the best man.
Okay.
We believe that he's not a criminal. We believe that as at the time he was filing to contest, the Electoral Commission was all aware, and he gave documentation to the Electoral Commission. The decision of the Supreme Court did not say that Gyakye Quayson is a criminal, and so there is nothing that bars him from contesting an election. And so we put him because we believe that he's the best man, contrary to our colleagues going to pick somebody who doesn't vote even in the constituency. Gyakye Quayson lives in Canada, but he votes in the constituency. They brought somebody who doesn't vote in that constituency to contest on their ticket.
Thank you so much. Mustafa Bande is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. We'll be following this story closely and bring you updates. Now, let's move on to other stories. 4 suspects arrested in connection with a viral video in which a lady was stripped naked and molested at Kopelga in the Boku West district have been remanded and set to reappear in court on the 30th of June. The Upper East Regional Minister, Stephen Yakubu, has been meeting community leaders over the issue. He joins us now via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us on Joy Newsroom. First of all, we know that RegSec has been investigating the matter. Have they briefed you on the initial findings? You may have to unmute for me, sir, so that I can hear you. Kindly unmute. We're finding it difficult to hear you. Kindly unmute for us, and then we can hear you clearly. I was asking for updates on the investigation so far. We know that RegSec has been investigating the matter. I wanted to find out from you if you have any initial briefing from the committee.
Yes, we have. Thank you very much, Joy, and thank you for your listeners. Yes, this issue has come to our notice. As you've rightly reported, yes, 4 people were arrested and 2 have been left off the hook, been bailed, but the 2 others have been remanded and to reappear on the 30th of June this year. So we are waiting to see what is going to happen. But what I want us to clarify is that what was the cause of this? It wasn't as if the area people just got up and then decided to attack Fulanis. It was an alleged rape also of a woman, a 33-year-old woman, and that actually necessitated all this what we are having right now. And yesterday we got the police, the psychologists were here, and they went there to also visit that woman also to ascertain whether indeed she was raped. So we are dealing with that matter. She had very lot of bruises and a lot of cuts around her body also, and that was initial cause of all this. And they thought that the Fulani man had raped a Kusasi woman, and therefore they also decided to strip a Fulani woman naked, which no one accepts that. As RESEC, we don't condone such acts, and we don't accept such acts at all in Upper East. So it's very important to balance the reporting. It's not as if they just got up and then went and attacked this woman. It was a cause of also an alleged rape of another woman that caused all these problems.
Interesting. You're bringing some perspective to the whole story, but we're also picking information that 4 other girls, together with the woman, the victim in question, who was molested and stripped naked, was also raped. Have you been briefed on that as well?
No, what we know is another lady who is also in the police custody also that we are investigating. But what I want us all to know is that these alleged cases frequently happens in the Upper East region here, where people are alleged that someone has raped the wife or anything like that. And then what we do is, the police will investigate. Sometimes it turns out not to be true at all.
Is it the case that the 4 other girls is not true? Is that what you're picking with your initial investigations?
Well, so far, the investigation, the police are not telling me, we are not getting answers to these particular alleged cases. For now, what we know is the first woman who was alleged to have been raped, and then also this woman that has been stripped naked. And then also we heard that other women also were raped, and we are still investigating that.
Now, what are the initial relief for some of these women? Because there are concerns that we could be seeing more of such attacks. Most of the times, women, children are the victims. What are we doing to help them in situations like this and also restore calm in the community?
Well, what we are telling people is that when an alleged case is reported to the police, they should allow the police to investigate the matter. They should not take the matter into their own hands and then do things that is not lawful. And you see that what they did to the Fulani woman was not right. Even if someone was raped, it wasn't that woman who spearheaded the rape, and therefore there was no need at all for them to have attacked that woman. So that's what we are doing. We're building consensus. We're building trust between the police and also the indigenous opinion leaders. So if people think that they report cases and then they get answers to whatever cases that they've reported, then I think that they will not take the law into their hands. And that is what we are trying to do, so that we'll be more proactive in some of these cases that they will report to us, and for them to trust that when they report cases to the police or to all of us, we will take action, so that when they know that, then I don't think that they will take the law into their hands. So we are busy working on this. In fact, we have a lot of Fulani issues in this region, and as you know, we are calming things down. We've done a lot to make sure that we all live together peacefully in this region.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen Yakubu, for giving us updates on that. We'll be coming to you in our subsequent bulletins to get more on this, because it's an issue of concern. We know that the suspects who molested the woman in question in the viral video has been remanded by the court, and they are set to reappear on 30th of June. Now, that is one thing we are all happy about, to see that justice would be served. So we'll be following this story closely and bring you update as at when we have it. Well, the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Siraj CHRI, says there's an urgent need to take steps to establish an independent police complaint committee in Ghana to deal with extrajudicial killings by the police. Now, the renewed call comes on the back of the killings of 5 persons by the Ghana Police Service. Botiano here in Accra, they described it as a killing of land guards. Now, let's bring in CHRI. the statement they have issued. Let's bring you excerpts of that. We'll also have joining us via Zoom the Research and Advocacy Program Officer at the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, Sabina Morgan. Well, Sabina, you're with us already, so let's go straight into it. Why this renewed call? We know, but you think that's a solution? Kindly unmute for us, Sabina, so that I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me? Can you unmute for us so that we can hear you clearly, Sabina? So we're still finding it difficult hearing you, so you may have to work that out. But then we're just picking your thoughts on this new call that your organization is pushing for. You feel that would be the solution to the current killings we're hearing of? Well, the police in their defense said they were land guards and they were only doing their job. So we'll pick your thoughts on that. But I can see on your screen right now is a statement from CHRI talking about the Botiano killings. It reads, the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative Africa office has followed media reports of the unfortunate shooting of 5 suspected land guards by the Ghana Police Service at Botiano in the Greater Accra region. Now, we wish to condemn this recurring use of lethal force by the police in dealing with suspects and call for a thorough and independent investigation to bring those responsible to justice. They also go on to say that we would also like to express our sincere condolences to the bereaved families. The incident, which occurred on Thursday, June 08, 2023, keeps bringing to fore serious questions about the use of force by law enforcement agencies in Ghana. While we recognize the importance of maintaining law and order, it is essential that the police operate within the bounds of the law and respect the human rights of all individuals. The shooting of suspected land guards, regardless of their alleged involvement in criminal activities, is a grave violation to the principle of the assumption of innocence until proven guilty and their rights to life. Now, it is worthy to note that the subsequent reports from chiefs and locals have contradicted the police account of the said incidents, and that's why Parliament would be looking into this matter to get better details about what is happening. If you recall last week, the Member of Parliament for English Yamanfo was in Parliament calling for investigations into this. Now, this contradictory statement, they go on to say, are consistent with previous incidents of mismatched police and community accounts of the same incident. It is on this basis of such conflicting information that the CHRI and its partners have been calling for the establishment of an independent police complaint commission for the better part of a decade. So that's key among the concerns you're pushing for there. You want an independent police complaint commission. How would this work, though? Oh, unfortunately, we've lost him there, but then let's move on to other stories right now. WA Central MP Rashid Popo says the police body cams must be useful in this situation. It will help reduce some of these incidents with regards to the Botiano killings. He was speaking on the floor of Parliament.
Necessarily because our colleague brought it up, but essentially because we detest any situation where the police, rather than directly arresting people, will kill them even before they are investigated. It is something that Parliament is thoroughly against and will always call for further investigation. But Samson, this tells you that Parliament is a unique body, a constitutional body with its own character.
You said police rather than directly arrest people. You know, it is not all the circumstances that they would have the opportunity to effect an arrest.
That's why
they say they were met with firepower.
That's why we are calling for investigation. In fact, it's time for the IGP, the police service, to mount policemen who are going on operations with cameras. So when they are operating, like happened elsewhere.
They may not have enough, but they have some of them, we understand.
Yeah, when they are operating. But in matters like this, where shootout is likely to happen, they should demonstrate
especially when none of their officers is hurt as evidence.
Yeah, so, I mean, they should have shown that something is happening. But it's the reason we are calling for investigations. But it also gives truth to what I pronounced, what I said, that Parliament will investigate or Parliament will comment on issues even when they are investigated outside. Otherwise, we would have said the police is investigating. Why are you, Parliament, making a statement about it? I mean, I think you understand that. So if we make statements on behalf of the people, it is a necessity, it is in accordance with our common principle of representing the people.
Well, Abuakwa South MP Samuel Atachan says there should be an investigation into the operations of the police, especially with regards to the Botiano case.
And we are saying so for the simple reason that we might not want to say that land guards are not dangerous and a menace to society. We are not saying so at all. And at the same token, we are not saying that we have our saints in the police service. We are not saying that at all, because every human institution is stamped with imperfections. And insofar as we cannot know in advance what are the content of this violence, that is what the inquiry is necessary. And I want to stress that. Today, the version you've read, their lives were in danger. We know that as a fact. That when your life is in danger, you are permitted by law to defend your life. It says so in Article 13 and it's right. And then you also pose a question that, was there any attempt to shoot back? If the police if their life were in danger because they shot at them, did they also shoot back? Was a policeman hurt and the rest of it? Trust me, we don't have video evidence of this escapade. That is why it is imperative that we have an inquiry in relation to this matter. Now, let me tell you something which is very important. There's what they call the police service inquiry. When I was practicing law seriously, I mean, I've been into some of these inquiries where the police themselves have sort of arraigned another policeman for his waywardness and the rest of it. It has come out as one of the ways to bring discipline to bear on the service of the police. But I'm of the humble view on hindsight that if we are not careful and the police are investigating themselves, then there could be issues of bias and issues that we should look good to the general public. And even the penal consequences of somebody's actions might not be as strong as it would have been if it were in the hands of other individuals. That is why the call that this matter should have independent investigation is very, very good. And we have also the situation of a history in which some of these police killings are becoming too many.
Well, the former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Daniel Bugri Nabu, has given a strong signal that a rejection of the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, in his bid to lead the party in the upcoming presidential race will be a reinforcement of perception that Northerners in the party are only suitable for vice president positions. Now, according to him, the NPP traces its origin to the Dankwa Buzia Dumbo legacy. So it will only be fair that the Dumbo extraction leads the party. He's been speaking in an exclusive interview with my colleague Samuel Mbura.
I know two has filed, and the contestants, they are 10, as you exactly said. Let me say that all the 10 they are all good and qualified. All the 10 who pick from some who are filed, some who are not filed, they are all well qualified. But the truth is that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be, and I'm going to use this medium to appeal to all delegate, constituency executives, regional executives, national executive. They shouldn't make mistake not to consider this raid to Bawumia.
So can you tell us exactly why you think Bawumia is the best bet for the party?
Yes. I'm going to tell you. The simple things is that MPP originated from northern region, joined with Asantis and now Ghanaians. But during Buzia regime, Buzia worked with Dombo and Co. Northern and Akan. Victor Gusu came and took advice from Nyankpala Tamale. That is His Excellency Yakubu Tali, Town Chief, as its running mate. Buzia Dombo, Victor Wusu, Yakubu Tali, Kufo came and took Aliu Mama as his running mate. Aliu Mama contested to become the flag bearer after Kufo. We didn't go and get vote from the accounts or the starting. Would you put in that discrimination? What an Englishman say discrimination. So now, Nana Adudonkwa Akufo-Addo has come to choose Mahmoud Bawumia. Now he has also reached, he also filed to be the flag bearer. If this time they don't vote him, they can't reject to vote him. It means they hate Northerners. That is simple. It is mean they hate Northerners. They only say we are together by mouth, but they don't mean it. So we Northerners, we are to learn sense this time. How many Northerners have counted? Nothing. Now Bawumia is also not rejected by the Asantis. It means we are one together, we are together, we are not together. And some of the MPs or former MPs have started saying that we Northerners, we are good for vice. So they are insulting us that we are only good for vice. So we don't know how to become president. Only vice, I don't think it is the best. So me, I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I'm appealing to everybody to have in mind that at the end of that day, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be voted.
Now to other stories, the National Youth Authority says it has commenced engagement towards a possible reduction of taxes on sanitary pads to ensure its affordability. The authority says period poverty and teenage pregnancy are major challenges affecting young girls, which ought to be tackled head-on. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, Pius Enam Hajide, spoke to journalists after an engagement with Youth Parliamentarian Forum and other stakeholders in Parliament.
Teenage pregnancy and period poverty are very high on our agenda. I just reported that according to data we have received from the District Health Information Management System, on the average, about 1,000 young girls below the ages of 18 get pregnant every year. And this is according to the data from the District Health Information Management System. It means that the numbers that do not report to the hospitals are not even covered. So in reality, the number could be higher. And this is a major concern for the National Youth Authority. And we are discussing with our stakeholders the ways to resolve that. We also know that period poverty has become a major challenge, even for in-school young ladies, because during that critical time in the month, there are many students who feel shy to go to school. But it is a natural occurrence, it will happen. So we need to educate the young ladies, the young girls first and foremost. And number two, we need to discuss the availability of the part or the things that young ladies use to deal with menstruation. We are told that the costs are rather high, and so there are many interventions, including a possible reduction on taxation on sanitary pads and so on. These are the conversations that we are having, and we are hopeful that we will take the conversation forward, because we need to find solutions to this problem.
We're taking a quick breather here on Joy Newsroom. When we return, we'll give you some shocking statistics from UNICEF, which shows that there is a notable increase in the upload of child sexual abuse materials online. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, UNICEF says there has been a notable increase in the upload of child sexual abuse materials originating from Ghana. It's worrying, isn't it? Well, in 2020, the fund released a report uncovering 13,000 sexual images, which organized here in Ghana and was originated from Ghana. Now, this was revealed by UNICEF Deputy Representative for Ghana, Fiacha Maase, at the commemoration of the 2023 AU Day of the African Child on the theme, The Right to the Child in Digital Environment in Accra.
The Child Online Protection Framework was first developed in 2016, but it has been revised with a lot of stakeholders to meet the current trends of online child sexual abuse. So what is going to happen is that it is now with the cabinet to approve the documents, and when cabinet approve the documents, we are going to have a stakeholder consultation and then we launch it. I'm sure by next year we are going to operationalize the Child Online Protection Framework we are going to operationalize the child online protection in the country through this framework. The framework has 6 capabilities that we are going to base on to operationalize the child online protection in the country. So we have the aspect of policy, where government will put measures in place to make sure that children are protected from all forms of online abuse. And as usual, as she mentioned, there are lots of policies that have been put in place already. So we also have the aspect of criminal justice system, where they also come in. We are going to train the criminal justice system so that at least they also have an idea of child online protection and they will know how to handle issues of online child sexual exploitation in the country. We also have an aspect of victim support. So with this one, we deal with stakeholders who are concerned with the welfare of children. So when these issues happen, they will come on board to support victims of online child sexual exploitation.
Over the past years, there has been a notable increase in the incidence of uploads of materials of child sexual abuse, which has originated from Ghana. And so the statistic I mentioned today was in 2019, there were already 12,000 incidences of this, as recorded internationally. And that has increased in the past 3 years to almost 22,000. So you've seen a doubling of figures coming from a position even a few years ago, maybe back to 2016 where you had very few. So we're seeing an awful lot more crime committed online with children as victims. We are working together with the authorities here to help them improve the systems that would have an impact there. So for example, we helped Ghana establish West Africa's first cybersecurity digital forensic lab as part of the Ghana police force at the CID. And this, for example, is able to trace, gather evidence and help prosecute those kinds of crimes.
Now, the Chief Executive Officer of Charterhouse, organizers of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, Teresa Ayoade, says the famous Ghana Music Awards scheme was birthed after an argument between the former music group, Achiame and Lord Kenya, over who is the best in the game. She revealed this in an exclusive interview with my colleague Aisha Ibrahim on PM Personality Profile.
Whole scope of the industry, I was totally blind to it. So I was having found myself in the media space and worked in that space and began to realize that I had a lot of creative ideas. I was a creative thinker. I could put things together. I could organize things. And I realized that, okay, let's move it to this level. So then I met my husband, and then we got married, and then we started having conversations about the industry, and then we decided to set up the Charterhouse. So I had to resign from multimedia, join him, slept at a house, and then we organized the Ghana Music Awards. No, I met him while I was a sales executive at Joy FM. He was actually a client.
How did it happen?
He was a client.
And then
I went to sell him advertising.
And
then we started having conversations.
I see.
And he happened to live. That's what helped. He happened to live in the area where I was living, which was near Achimota. So he happened to live there as well. So that was the excuse. Oh, I'm giving you a ride home after work. After work. So on the way home, you stop at a place, have a meal, chats, drop you off. And for me, it was a nice ride home.
And one thing led
to another. But we actually started this TV program, Agro.
Yes,
So he came back. He designed the program called Agro, which was quite interesting for a Nigerian who didn't speak a local language to design a local language program that was hugely successful. So he himself is a creative as well.
I can see that.
So because once you're creative, once you apply the creative thinking, you can put anything together. So he said that, and actually Ghana Music Award was born through Agro because it was on that Agro platform that was taking musicians to various parts of the country. I think at one of the, in Kumasi also, he had backstage Achiame Kwame, at that time they were called Achiame. Achiame and Lord Kenya were backstage and they were arguing who was the most popular. That if I go out the front, if I go on stage, you hear the fans, I'll have more fans than you. That was the argument he saw them having backstage and he was watching them. So when he came back, he said, I think Ghana's, and he was very interested. He found the music scene very interesting. At that time, it was more vibrant than the Nigerian scene. When we were doing, that was when Radio Stone had come back with Hip Life and everybody was, and Nigeria hadn't started anything around that. Those things yet. They were still in the Sania days and Emmanuel Lovich, Ebenezer Obe or whatever. They're still in that stage. So when they came and saw what was happening in Ghana, I was like, wow. Your music scene is very vibrant and and then going on tour of the country with Agro and all of that, it was like, wow. So he came back. Why don't we create a music awards or something? So it's actually his idea.
Oh wow.
So
and then of course fire.
I mean, I was in that marketing space, so I just jumped into it and we designed it and we packaged it and So it was at that point that I actually resigned from multimedia, from Joy FM, so I could join him.
Interesting interview there. Well, that's how we draw the curtains here on Joy Newsroom. My name is Fostina. Sarfo. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Now, but before we let you go, Mrs. Ayode Turner stated that her outfit is ready to have a conversation with musician Shatta Wale and his team about the return to the awards game. You remember that story? Well, yeah, listen.
I think we are open to a conversation. We just want to make sure that the scheme is respected, and whoever agrees to be part of the scheme agrees to abide by the outcome of the scheme, and most importantly, just give it that respect, because we give every musician the necessary respect, and the industry must also give us that respect for what we do, because we are collaborators in the industry. So we are happy to sit around the table and have a decent conversation, which is what we did with the Stonebwoy team. We invited them, we had a conversation, we all agreed on how to work together better for the betterment of the industry, and we proceeded, but we haven't had the chance to do that with Shatta Wale's team.
So Shatta says that if you call him, he will be willing to do so. Will you do that?
Well, we will explore that. We will explore that. I mean, we want to be as inclusive as possible. So we are happy to have a conversation, but as decent as adults and as mature people, we can have that conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Is this something you've already planned doing?
Well, because we made overtures which were not responded to, we moved on.
Okay.
So
you actually approached him, and
at the time that we reached out to the two, we reached out to the two, Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale. Yeah, I think that was a few years back.
Yeah,
we reached out to them
immediately after the incident.
Yes, I think after a year or so, we reached out to them.
Okay,
and Stonebwoy's team responded, and we had a conversation. But the other team, they didn't respond.
Okay.
So we haven't had a conversation.
So that means that the ban has been lifted?
Oh, yes.
Has it officially been lifted?
It was officially lifted. It was at the point at which it was lifted that we had the meeting.